Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Where are we here? Let's see what the button says. Hello, everyone. Hey, there it is. Do. Boom. Happy Friday and all that. Having quite an interesting day today. And the internet, I was even commenting to Kevin just before we got going here that we're moving at light speed here at TRI. It's remarkable. And now that we have our day trading room up and running, it's like it's shocking how fast things move. And like literally, you wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's just go, 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 go. Oh goodness. I'm so proud of this community, though. I have to say, I'm so proud. These people are consummate professionals. And the community has really built itself out. Whether it be the education program, the instructors, all the people that we've trained over the past number of years to look at the market clearly and understand the process and how you actually risk money in the marketplace like a professional. To the TRI management, very solid individuals, characters, very solid characters, I have to say, very, very solid characters. So you can see, our CTO Sjord has diligently worked away on building these tools out that I believe are just insane value added. If we look at things like the breadth of the market, the crypto universe, I think our crypto breadth indicator flashed a little bit of a warning. But interesting how, we are in a bullish phase. So now we've taken back that little early warning and are back feeling a little more comfortable. I look at crypto stocks and I kind of see this image where they kind of flashed weakness, but they're starting to firm up nicely. In fact, I think the sailor guy, I always forget what his name of his company is. M starts with an M. M something. M here, this one. MSTR. MicroStrategies. There it is. I mean, you guys have looked at this channel long enough. I mean, hopefully you guys go, oh, gee whiz, look at that. There's a W there. And ironically enough, that kind of describes that image there here. Where we're trying to point bullish. You can see we got a little bit of a pullback. And now, just in the short term, we're trying to perk our head up here. We might have actually a half decent little weekend frivolity ahead of us here. We'll see how it goes. And like I said, starting to see signs in the stock market that, okay, and this is the worst part about it, right? Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Now that all that, sad, I don't even hear anybody that was sort of all rah, rah, rah about crypto back here, February, March. I don't see any of that nonsense. And of course, who has been sort of flushed out of the business. Hopefully he stays out. But we're starting to clean things up here a little bit. So that looks good. And, I also heard, too, that some little ones, they're actually graduating to the senior board. So this one's a Canadian company that, if anything, I think the reason why I perked up there yesterday is because it was listed on the NASDAQ. And you know who, Mr. Novogratz. This is the big carrot that he's waiting for. Is again TSX listed. He wants to go down to Wall Street, right, and really wag his what. So he wants to get that U.S. listing. If you see that, my hunch is this W comes in and away we go. And actually, I put a funny tweet out about a guy who actually looks awfully like those Dompit, those guys, the Russian guys. Shocking, this little guy, he appeared on a podcast, the visual resemblance, but that's irrelevant. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but he was super bullish of this stock, and I like the way he was thinking. He was actually trying to explain macroeconomics and the history of the U.S. dollar Fakezi and the petrodollar and abandoning of the gold standard, and how really, I mean, to all intents and purposes, the U.S. dollar is in itself the ultimate mafioso payment system. You either use it or we're going to whack you. It's kind of sad how history's gone this way. But I digress. What the hell was I talking about? Buy Bitcoin, right? And that's all that matters. And speaking of which, actually, I have started to work some stink bids on this bad boy. I threw in a bid at the gap here at $6 here on this ETF, Purpose ETF, Bitcoin ETF in Canada. Because the rule usually is, and actually Kevin even was talking about this, but the rule usually is that these things come out of the gate and they fall in half. You know, the great historical analogy I always use with everybody on the site is good old Facebook, where it came out of the gate and everybody, I remember the day that this happened, everybody was like, are you kidding me? It's trading like 4 times book. Jesus H. Christ. So it came out at 42 and fell down to 20. And that's usually how a lot of these IPOs go. So, you know, you might argue, hey, geez, that looks like a hell of a lot of cryptocurrency ICOs. Yeah, well, that's usually this is an exit event. So, you know, kind of like the, we'll get to that other one in a moment. But this ETF, it came out at, where did we open up here? About 1060. So, where should the bottom be? You know, it's roughly about $5.30. So, you can see we got down into that sort of 5.5 area, and there was buyers down there, right? A big old hammer. So, I'm willing to entertain some purchases down in here. I like that idea. The coin, same sort of thing, and this is Kevin's been scolding me a little bit. Came out at about 380 and change, which means that probably the bottom should be around 190 or so, which I guess to a certain degree is kind of similar to that the crypto ETF with its gap lower and the hammer. So there could be one more dip here, but just full disclosure, you know, candle body lows. This is just too tempting for me. I do have a bid working down here at like 218, or I think it's about 220 or so, somewhere in that area. So I'm more than happy to actually start, you know, forcing myself to start accumulating through here. And actually, this is kind of funny because I'm a cheap ass. I don't like to spend a lot of money. I haven't. This order is for 1 share. And then I gotta place another order for 1 more share on the fuck you of that low, which probably is gonna happen, and it probably is around Kevin's 190, half of the IPO price. And then I plan to buy 1 more share. Hopefully we do something like a big fat W, and I'll buy the W, and I'll get 1, 2, 3 shares on the books. Wish me luck. Yeah, I don't like to put a lot of money into anything, so it's kind of a fun experiment. So that's sort of what I see out of crypto. You know, I think we're getting closer to the bottom than the top, but it's still going to be a few weeks away, I think. And then you're going to get these funny little sort of catalysts. You know, like I tell you, if the day Novogratz, not even an if, I know it's going to come because Hut's already there. The day Novogratz is listed on the NASDAQ, we're back on the bull side. And this thing's probably going to go apeshit and sort of lead our move higher here. Let's see. What else can we ramble on about here today? Usually I like to talk to you guys about sort of the matrix of the market. I think, unfortunately, while, you know, Socialist Joe, I don't know what we're going to call him. I think while Joe's over there in Europe, he's sort of pitching the USA is back kind of message, which might actually translate into, you know, military purchase orders. Ironically enough, you know, the person who actually was the biggest benefit to the United States of America over the 21st century so far here was Barack Obama. I mean, he sold so much U.S. military equipment overseas. Literally everybody was buying U.S. military hardware. I mean, that's why the U.S. military is the biggest employer in USA. Are we transitioning into that U.S. dollar strength actually is a good sign for the economy, and actually a bullish sign. In a weird sort of way, that's exactly what's supposed to happen, which is going to be totally counterintuitive to what you guys have all seen over the past, what is it? It's 2021 now, so pretty much the past 20 years. I remember sitting in an office with another broker buddy of mine, Jack Zion, back in the early 1990s. And we mapped out the bull market in the U.S. dollar. And I remember at the time we were sitting at a brokerage desk and we go, this damn U.S. dollar index is going up to 120. And of course, at the time, everybody and their brother was insanely bearish of the U.S. dollar. That was forever ago. You want to see how long ago forever is? That was right in here. That's how long forever ago is. He and I were sitting there. I remember. Brokerage house was C.M. Oliver. Any old timers in the market watching this video remember those guys. And we were sitting there right in here. And like I said, everybody was bearish of the U.S. dollar. And we're kind of like, we're heading into a demographic peak. This is actually, and at that time, I didn't really study the fear-greed cycles. I had to, I was learning this. This was 30 years ago, right? 20, 30 years ago. And we saw this bottom come in, and we're like, holy bejesus. And then look at this. Look at the tight little bottom. That's probably the tell of a really good trade. When you get that tight little W that comes in right on the right-hand side. One site member actually, I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm sure he's going to get all pissed off at me for doing this, but it's so fucking cool. This is I'll just give you a quick sneak peek. This is his presentation that he wants to give on the site. I mean, it's so cool. But I'm not going to show you anymore. I'll leave the rest up to him. But he's a huge fan. In fact, actually, I was even showing this. What asset was it that I did that Adam and Eve off of? Kevin, do you remember? Did that in the daily brief for the good people here today.
Off the bank?
Was it? Oh, yeah, it was a bearish one, on the TD Bank. Yeah. All right. Anyway, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. So this would be, he would call this an atom, where, of course, Adam is quite pointed, and an Eve, where Eve is quite rounded. So, I got a funny feeling we're in this kind of environment. Sure feels like it. And if we go to the chart now, you can actually see it happened way back here, right? Not really. This is almost like an Eve. I'm not quite sure how I would describe that. But interestingly enough, actually, this U.S. dollar index was supposed to bottom over here, not way over here. So that's a bit odd that the bottom actually came in way over here. But anyway, that does mean, though, that actually we could dip down into here and still be within this secular bull that I like. I do like, however, just here in the short term, I do like the idea that this is sort of like our Adam and this is our potential Eve. That's been my thesis, and considering the Jupiter-Saturn cross and the interest rate issues and then the absolute insanity of what happened there at the end of last year, I get the feeling that the 1% also is trying desperately to knock this thing down as hard as possible through this. Because they know the path of least resistance, once we're on the other side of all this celestial event, once we're on the other side of all this COVID insanity, and the market actually goes back to actually pricing assets, I mean, it's laughable, my country. My country, the leaders, none of them have any background in finance, and they're just like, fuck it, man, print as much money as you want. And, of course, the banks love this, right? Because that serves their purpose perfectly. But the value of the actual currency? Who gives a shit about that? So I got a funny feeling when the day of reckoning comes, Canada's in big trouble. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Back to our story here. I do like the idea that this U.S. dollar is trying to pivot here, and we held that Adam and Eve low. Look at that, actually. It's quite pretty. So, Adam, and then now... on this site, we give this affectionately. It's got a whole bunch of lows, so we call this Olga. Because Olga, she isn't as hot as Eve. Eve's fucking hot, right? She's got a tight ass. Olga's challenged. Brian would fall under the Olga category. Kevin's a fucking beast, right? Do you mountain bike like 20 miles a day, don't you, or something? So he would be under the Eve sort of category, but Brian's definitely Olga. I don't know. I'm being stupid. Sorry. It's Friday. I'm having fun. What the fuck? It's my show. I can say anything I want. I like the idea that this thing's turning back up. And I thought it was fascinating because I had sort of pondered and I asked the site. My big goal for TRI, and it's been this way for this at least the past year and a half. Ironically enough, I'm not really that interested in selling any more school seats. You guys probably think that that's a big motivation for me, but it isn't. And ironically enough, I keep going, I don't care whether you guys sign up or not. And you guys keep pouring in. It's remarkable. And it's weird because it's like people go now on the internet. Like what I'm hearing is people say, you want to learn how to trade, just go to that rational investor place. Just go there. Just go. Don't talk to me about trading. Just go, get it done. Then once you're done, come back and talk to me about trading. Which is beautiful. I mean, fucking what a testament, eh? But my big goal, my personal big goal has been I really want to... We've invested a lot of time and a lot of money. This is... Remember, Brian's a cheap ass. I did my whole 1980s website for like nothing, maybe $1,000 total, and just my own personal time of teaching myself how to do all that programming, and of course doing it really crappily, but nonetheless getting the job done. Sjord here, of course, is doing this the way it's supposed to be done, and cheap ass Brian, I look at the bill and oh fuck, this has been a lot of money, but. You got to pay the money, as Sjord would say. What you pay? You pay peanuts and you get monkeys. So you do the job right, and you get a half decent product. What I found, not only on top of things like the crypto breadth indicator, which I think are absolutely invaluable for traders, but the big sales pitch for me is the signals and my beloved key reversals. And I thought it was fascinating. I mean, keep in mind, I've been working in this industry for 30 years. Nobody does this. But now I have key reversal signals spitting out all the time. And I thought this was incredible. And I just simply asked the community. And I think the community was on board, but I don't know. Maybe they aren't. I have to sort of prove to them. But gee whiz, look what our system is telling is spitting up a bullish key reversal. The good old US dollar index bullish fund, UUP. There it is, as plain as day. Look at Kevin. Would you consider that a confirmed MACD bullish divergence?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I mean, look what the 200 period moving average is. You can see the W in price. And so the question is, can I justify asking you, the public, to subscribe to TRI to get a list of these kind of names in your email for like $20 a month? Is that a justifiable request? I think it is. This is a bullish one, and I think I showed you that US dollar index chart. I mean, it looks super cool. Right? I mean, there's the W, right? Olga, whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, the buy signals are the buy signals are the buy signals. I thought it was fascinating that we got basically the exact opposite in an asset that if U.S. interest rates do go up and they sort of start balancing the world out the way it's supposed to be, then this stupid Canadian real estate market's going to come back in line. And of course, remember, the banks, they're greedy mother. You know how it goes. Well, where the hell's the damn shirt? This is the one I want to show you. Sorry about that. The screener, again, can I justify asking you guys to pitch in like $20 a month to get this list in the email? Did I say that right? I think I said that right. Check this out. So those are the bullish key reversals by US dollar. How about the bearish ones? And I thought this was fascinating, that like a week or two. So you can't even say that you didn't have lots of notice. But I thought it was fascinating that like a week or two ago. Oh, there it is. Just went by it. Two of the largest banks in Canada, which are technically owned by the same company, they're spitting out bearish key reversal signals. Ay caramba, that's bad. And, you know, you just pull up the chart. What does the chart look like today? And I'm short, and you tell me. Is that kind of a short trade that's got Brian written all over it? I mean, it's incredible. And again, I think I showed you just quickly there a moment ago about David's Adam and Eve's. So there is Adam, the big honking key reversal. There's Eve, and actually Eve looks quite polite. And there's a nice breakdown now, confirming like a head and shoulders, confirming a double top, a triple top, along with the key reversal. Would it be realistic to ask the public for a $20 a month subscription to get a list like that in your email? Do you want to make money from trading? I think so. I mean, I really do. So, as I said, I started out this project, and what I really want to see happen here is I want to see the dashboard and the screener tools really live up to their billing. Because once we start really implementing this trading methodology and this way to manage money, oh my God, it's ridiculous. And of course, you know, we got lots of crypto signals in here. Not gonna, we cover the whole damn universe, the whole universe. I mean, this is just, it's over the top of so awesome. So this is the big thing I'm really trying to push, and I will be sort of, my major efforts are going to be over the next 6 months. My goal is I want 250 site subscribers that feel that they get good value out of spending, I guess, what is that, $300 a month for the key reversal signaling system. And oh, by the way, we got 5 million other screeners in there as well, and you can even, if you want to, spend a bit more money and build your own screeners. So super stoked with the potential for this going forward.
Not 300 a month, right? Is that what you said?
300 a year. So I said like $20 a month. Mind you, the funny thing is that would only be $3,600 a year, and there's tons of Wall Street advisory services that charge like 5 G's a year, no problem. I remember that back in that 2000 peak when I was working at one brokerage house, the owner of the brokerage house subscribed to this newsletter service that just spat out stocks to short on a daily basis when the dot-com bubble burst, and he paid $10,000 a month for that subscription service. So ironically enough, $300 a year is laughable for you guys. But thank you for the correction there, Kevin. And keep in mind, too, I suppose, that this crypto audience, that's our primary audience, they're probably not at the size of big brokerage houses just yet. So anyway, so that's this is a big objective of mine. I'm super stoked to see that the signaling system is basically spitting up signals that completely validate with what I'm seeing just manually in the market here. US dollar is turning back up here in earnest. Interesting to see, there could be a political play here. Because Socialist Joe, he's got to really promote chaos and a really bad situation to get the public to justify his massive socialist program that, if it is as it is right now, I don't think it's going to pass Congress. There's too many right-wing politicians. Keep in mind, the Senate is pretty marginal as it is. And a lot of those politicians, if they go back to their constituents and say, yeah, I voted for more dilution of the U.S. dollar, I voted for more socialism, they ain't going to be reelected next go round. So they have to seriously, especially the House of Representatives, their elections are like every 2 years. So it would make sense that to get the public panicked and dumping stock, and therefore the stock market itself dumping, and people, remember how last March and in the Daily Brief I went right off the deep end. What did you think of that one, Kevin? Did it almost sound like I lost it a little bit there?
It was funny.
Was it? Oh, so it wasn't that bad, or was it bad? I can't remember, but I went like nuts parodizing the poor little right-wing politician who was like, shouldn't we debate this? And, all the socialists just dumped on him. I got a funny feeling that they're going to try and engineer that kind of environment, because that vote's going to come up here at the end of the month. And we got to motivate these public to get them to call up their politicians to say, yes, do anything, you got to save us. Because that's what I think has to happen here. So, stock market kind of teetering a little bit up here. Fucking crude oil market. And this is the tragedy of our society. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious, the dilution of the U.S. dollar. There's no way in hell crude is justified at $70 a barrel. I mean, back when the economy was booming, like 3% annual GDP, and incomes were rocking, and, tons of people were out driving around, great, but that's not the case now. This is just purely a function of, sadly, in my opinion, the dilution of the U.S. dollar, and this is probably a safe place to actually have your money just sitting, which is weird, eh? But hard asset. Like I heard somebody say recently that they inherited a bunch of Exxon Mobil, and it's fascinating. I would be willing to bet that the public actually would be net sellers of Exxon Mobil down here, but ironically enough, the pension funds, they're probably actually net buyers of Exxon Mobil, considering it's now finally come back down into key support here. And what you're going to find is that these energy companies are exactly that. They're going to transform themselves into energy companies. We're no longer oil companies. We're energy companies. I don't know. So, I mean, I don't know how to interpret this oil market as other than highly, I don't know, it's a tough one, I mean, the interesting thing with Canada is that it owns about more oil than Saudi Arabia. And I think the currency's been bid up quite a bit because of this revaluation of oil. I've seen a lot of uranium names coming alive recently. Uranium only comes alive when crude oil prices really start getting expensive and people start going, maybe we should seriously consider using alternatives, and things like uranium actually start becoming realistic, considering it's a huge capital expenditure to justify nuclear versus oil, relatively speaking. I mean, maybe that's going to change over the next few years. Who knows? Also, too, a good portion of the world's electrical supply, even now, is sort of coal-fired, oil-fired. I don't know whether oil-fired sounds right or not, but natural gas, I suppose. So, can feel like the cost of energy, and in a weird sort of way, I heard somebody recently describe Bitcoin as digital energy, which I thought was really interesting. I like the idea of taking the excess natural gas from Canada's, massive energy projects and use that to mine Bitcoins. So in essence, taking that natural gas and converting it into a monetary unit, just through work. which I thought was really, really smart. So probably a function of the reflating of the world economy. Is it really inherent global demand? I don't know. Right? I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, I suppose China still is demanding more oil. Could be also too. I'm hearing there's lots of talk about the sort of left-leaning political infrastructure in the United States is getting close to maybe striking some sort of compromise deal to relieve sanctions on Iran. So you might be seeing a bidding up of oil prices in front of that, and maybe that's like a top in the market. I don't know. Also, too, I heard that Russia would really like to have American sanctions against them reduced. So there might be some leverage there that's going on. It's a conundrum, I'll tell you that much. I suppose technical analysis-wise, things like Feigenbaum, probably not a bad level to be thinking about here going forward. 2.618 is sort of our initial knee-jerk reaction stop. You can see how we dojied there, but looks like we're powering forward. So that's up about $80 there. Then if we really get going, notice 877s are basically right up against $100. Then I suppose, I mean, I wouldn't have thought it. Usually this doesn't play out. In fact, actually, there was a day trader on the site that I tried to help see this. But usually the third of these stalls about halfway through and then it collapses. So I suppose if we do a measurement, boobity boo. So this is 1, 2, and then this is 3, 4 is the second one. I would not expect the market to get up here. I would expect it to rally up about halfway and then dump. Just there was an example of that in the stock market recently, but I won't go there. So anyway, coming up into exhaustion window, somewhere between looks like about 70 and 79, so 70 and $80. That's probably your playground. And, you know, if we get any kind of hurricane news or anything along those lines, I bet that we're going to be pumping up here into this $80 area. Once that's done, I don't know. Tough to say where it goes from there. And frankly speaking, I've told you all along here, and I'm full disclosure, I'm not really an oil bull. I don't like oil. I think it's dirty, ugly. It's old technology. Want us to move forward. So I happen to be in, I think, well, I know Falcon Minerals is one oil name that I'm in. The only reason why I'm in it was because Zach, in our secret options formula group, he got me to come in on this thing. So, and Brian being an idiot, what am I buying? I don't know. Okay, fine, fuck it, go and buy it. So I bought this. Turns out to be an oil warrant that I'm in from about 20 cents. And you can see it's not really doing a hell of a lot, but it's got some potential. If oil does want to work its way back up top, well, there's lots of room for it to run there. And the stock itself, oh, look at that. TD Bank's coming off. Good to see. Nice. Look at that. Whew, I'm going to make some good money on this trade. That looks good. Oh, I got a bit lucky there. But what am I trying to tell you guys? Whoa, look at your little PCSA. Nice. Great example of a key reversal there. Kevin pointed that out. Beautiful. Really, really good example. What was I talking about? Oh, I can't even remember. Must have been shatteringly important. Where the hell was I? Oh, well. Blah, blah, blah. I've probably been going on way too long here today anyway. Nice, nice looking bottom there in the US dollar. What the hell was I talking about? I was talking about oil and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, Falcon Minerals. I'm in that. Anyway, so full disclosure, I do have a little bit of oil on the books, but it's just not voluntarily. And if anything, the way I like to play this is I'd rather buy things like alternative fuel stocks, electric vehicles. I mean, geez, this oil price keeps going up. the electric vehicle sales. That's the easiest sales pitch ever. Man, I've probably got to get into the electric vehicle sales business. It's such an easy sell. So, I don't know. It sure looks like the market there for energy is pointing higher. I don't like this third push. I hate these third pushes. They almost never work. But I definitely like a stall out around that $80 there. Bonds continue to work their way higher. Now, it's interesting that the headlines were, well, economic data points no inflation or low inflation. No need to worry. If I understand correctly, I think there's Fed speakers coming up here shortly. So we probably got to listen to what they're saying. Looks to me, I think I mentioned this recently, this looks very suspicious trading, the way we got this. I mean, keep in mind, this is a massively huge market. Trades, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, for it to be gapping like this, somebody must have come in and said something pretty damn important. Or, done something, like a Fed kind of people. They gonna do this kind of stuff. Or, this thing's coming down right against the low, and the Fed stops in and says, no, slow down. You stop going down, start going back up. This looks very choppy. So, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Maybe, if we're lucky, finally going to get that sort of rally up into channel resistance. Maybe we do something like boom, 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 boom. So that could take us all the way up into here, but it's not going to take us. I guess what might happen is this drags on till there. So we're probably going to just sort of like go right, and then start moving up and then hit the channel. So, yeah. And I guess that would make sense too, because we've got, if I understand correctly, Joe's got till sort of the rest of June here to pitch the story. If we can get maybe a week or two of just the market melting down, bonds, stocks, everything just going to hell in a handbasket, that'll get the public nice and freaked out and, justify that next stimulus package that they want to spend. I don't know. Just Brian talking out his ass. Not really any value there. Fascinating to see the gold. Basically, Kevin actually walked us through this over the past month or two. Beautiful fractal type price action. We're coming up now, of course, into resistance. We haven't quite hit Mountain Man of this range, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit higher here to go. Maybe with the bonds, right? They push up and do that ABCD. I could see the gold have another leg up against all these highs. If, however, we go and just damn out here, right? Up, down, up, see you later. And that might mean we have to, the rally's done and maybe we got to walk our way back down the trend line here. So keep your eyes peeled, right? If we hold that low, or even doesn't even matter, right? We can actually come all the way back down against this low. But if we hold that low and we hold that low, and then you actually start to see the market turn back up through sort of downtrend lines like that, well, away we go. But we're not there yet. Right now, I would say consolidation, right? Something like that. It's probably going to go jugga, 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 and then either kapow or jugga, 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 ka-thump. It's an interesting little battle zone, eh? On gold stocks, I do have some bids working right down against the bottom on some of the gold and silver names, but there's no way I could chase anything up top here. Sucks. So, that is that. Junior market's been doing very well here of late. A lot of people are banging off really big wins in the market here. I got a couple nice ones off earlier in the week. Not really doing a hell of a lot else. But gee whiz, like this PCSA, you can see key reversals, W's, 50% roll. Look, there's a gap way up top there that could easily be filled in. I mean, we didn't even look at indicators. Bullish divergence. Kevin, he loves that MACD bullish div. There it is. I mean, there's just so many reasons to be bullish of these names. It doesn't surprise me if the stock market just gets dragged higher here. I mean, I could go through a ton of different names, but probably no point in doing that here. Where was it? A Poly. I kind of like this image because this is a sort of professor of economics copper image. So I want to see these kind of names making higher highs and higher lows as sort of a testament to how the economy is doing. I actually like the idea that we have a nice little summer rally here. It's just I'm really worried about what happens when we get into the fall and next flu season. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know, is there really anything else? I think I showed you that TD Bank trade. Love the look of that. Showed you a couple little juniors that are trying to W out here. So there is money to, there is places to put money on the long side. This is a really cool little one, MT Metals. I've been buying this one up here. Look at that. I mean, this is crazy. Eh? Look at that chart. Oh, my goodness. Rolled the stock back. Look at that. Huge hole up there at like 35 cents. There it goes. I love the look of those kind of names. That's got Brian written all over it. Just great looking stock. Yeah. So there's your market. Actually, I'm looking to try and... This one's a good example. We've been in this one for a while. Just patience and discipline. Nothing to do. Got my orders up here. I might actually get filled here today. We'll see how it goes. But looking good. Not all the market looks like tech stocks or the Dow and stuff like that. There are a huge part of the market looks like this. And so this sort of brings us back to that, junior market's looking fairly firm. I don't like, then this actually looks exactly like that gold chart, right? I don't like how we went, and then down here, and here we are. Does that mean, we got one of these? Then maybe back up, and then another one of these? Could be. I think I'd even suggested to the site when I was talking to them today, this whole market has got insane volatility written all over it. We got the US dollar, which historically has been sort of like a risk off bet, rallying and double bottoming, triple bottoming, Olga bottoming. We've got, I personally think stocks at the top end of the range looking really dangerous, and things like Canadian bank stocks issuing outside downside key reversals. That's not good. And then, like I said there, we've got a politically motivated event coming up here where they kind of need the market to just puke out here so the public freaks out. I suppose you could argue, more risk asset kind of talk with crypto. That is a big M there. Market never moves in a straight line, so following the M confirmation, what does the market do? Rally straight up against trendline resistance. You can see that M's coming in, even though price is making higher highs. That's divergence. And, of course, our rule about M's and W's, first M here, bulls got to cool your jets. So market pushed higher here, even though the M was in. That's this counter trend rally, total trap. And that's a great sell setup. Dump down. Now we're getting 1M, 2Ms. Didn't come in through the 50 line. Notice real huge fight here at the 50 line. It's tough to be really overtly bullish. I'm worried that, of course, if we dump through here, that's a pretty darn well structured failure. So that's kind of what I'd be thinking is going to happen here. V bottom, that should be tested at some point. And does this turn into some sort of big fractal failure here? So, nothing really to do right here at this moment, but I'll tell you, if we start closing out there, that's an M top, and you know how that story goes. M, down, down, M, down. So, just be forewarned. Considering all the political stuff, I think that makes sense too. Looking at poop coins, I still think poop coins are still cleaning themselves up. There's the end of June, beginning of July. Could we do an A, B, C, D here? Of course. Now we've got one high, two highs. Could we get some sort of counter trend rally up into these candle body fails to give us that third high? Sure. You can see trend lines. That actually has put in a nice railroad tracks failure on the other side of the trend line. So that little short-term uppy, it's toast. Suppose we have something working here. So now if we get a zing, zing, and really what you want to see is a nice full M on the other side of this trend line to justify this fail. That would be great to see as a short setup to take us down into here. Then, of course, Brian and his bots, we go down to like, say, I don't know, 4 hour. So, oops. There is the AB, right? That's that big honking one. CD, right? Because that's a new low, so we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, lots of lower highs. So the setup is there. Now remember, folks, just because the setup's there, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed to work. But if there was those that were, say, shorting like perp indexes and stuff like that, 33, no more than 66, check. Double top breakdown, triple top. I like to use 3 lower highs, and that way I'm a chicken shit, got lots of support. Alright. Oh, look at that. 25 level set up nicely off of there. So 215.50 on this thing, and it's at where are we here? 57. Good heavens. Is that for real? Not quite sure. I guess this is off a logarithmic chart. No, it's regular log. I don't know whether I believe that number. Probably, log scales actually work really great for these kind of bearish projections, because you just never know how deep they go. Where did that go? Where are you? Whoops, I guess it's gone. Thought I had something written here. So, just to eyeball, it's awfully tough to do these trend, these ABCDs off of log charts, because an area draw just doesn't work. But eyeballing it, looks like somewhere down in that area there. Actually, I do like that. So ABCD, again 78.6. I like that 2500. That number works for me. Don't know if you're gonna get that. That doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. And I wouldn't be surprised that we hit move stop to trailing level 66%. And then this thing, because I don't think you're going to get that. You might, but I doubt it. But probably more something like that. And then we go back up and you'd be stopped out on that trailing move. So, anyway you shake it, these charts are not really pointing up right now. Still a bit dangerous. Probably a really great analogy. Let's see what this thing looks like. So if we go back to like, say, a 4 hour chart. Yeah. So we did have W's come in, then an M came in, then another M. We're threatening more M's. We've also kind of lost this fast support line here, trend line, boopity boo. So you can see how the market really played with that and then played with it and then puked out and lost it. So that's old. Now we probably have to be watching things like, I don't know whether I'd go off of there. Maybe something like that. That's a tough one. Terrible structure. So we could, because of this structure, you could actually see this thing rally all the way back up here. This is a mess. Typical you-know-who. His algorithms are probably just breaking the kids' hearts right, left, and center now. But as sort of a good proxy for the junior speculative part of this market, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing turns first. So, something along those lines. So, there's your playground right now. This is kind of a funny, I don't even know, would you call it an octagon? Something like that. A very odd looking shape. So there's your playground in there. I'm probably going to bump along this trend line here. So there you go. Merry Christmas. So, as you can see, as soon as you start seeing any kind of W's in here, okay, like you see down here, you want to step in and take a shot. That wasn't a bad trade. It produced pretty good profits. But there is no W here right now, so maybe just cool your jets. Go have a nice afternoon, evening. This is a 4-hour chart, so this is going to take like days to actually form a W here. Sometimes they say candle body lows are good trade locations, so maybe, taking a stab against that candle body low. Pretty big risk, that tail. And really, I might even say that you'll get like an FU move against that tail, but what they're really doing is they're just testing this low. So very suspect. And probably your best thing to do is just wait for some sort of tight consolidation, W's, all that kind of fun stuff. Right? So there's nothing to do here. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the rant at that. Be careful here, especially heading into the weekend. You're probably going to have a lot of pros on Wall Street wanting to clean up and close out for the weekend. Heading up to the Hamptons. Slow and steady wins the race. Look forward to Sunday's broiler chickens, keeping the level oneers. Keep moving that train forward. We'll have lots of fun questions to answer through that. And also, too, maybe we'll talk a little bit about Brian's big Hawaiian retreat. As we've got some interesting developments. I think I'm going to do it as a not-for-profit and have it totally floating on its own, which actually makes me really excited because then don't even have to worry about TRI. It's just this little property floats out in the universe and collects karmic energy as it spins through the galaxy. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the offering. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best. And bye for now.